And outgoing week is also marked by honoring the memory of people who were killed during the mass protest actions in Kyiv 2 years ago. How Ukraine can commemorate this day? Watching the following story by Anna Bilaeva.
This week, Ukraine honors the memory of activists who died during the mass protest actions in Kyiv on 18th, 20th of February 2014. These days were the final stage of Revolution of Dignity. Everything began with Peace March on 18th of February, which moved from Maidan Square to Ukrainian Parliament Verkhovna Rada. That day, opposition hoped to vote for returning of Constitution of 2004. The fight had started with grenades, which were thrown from the side of Mariinsky Park. Special Unit Berkut had broken Maidan's self-defense and had started the attack. Cruel attack. First victims, hundreds of wounded and dozens of disappeared.
The biggest shock was probably when a guy was brought nearly. He kept on his hand, but there is no hand anymore. Namely, he wanted to throw back the grenade. And then began a dissonance in the mind that how this became possible here in a peaceful country, in a peaceful protest that has already started to grow into something more.
From the Mariinsky Park, people ran to Maidan, to barricades. It was the only one place where they could hide.
People were throwing everything. The line burned exactly through Maidan, and they were just pulling everything. I got out of the shield, got on the guy who threw. In such a way, I covered him as well as myself. At first I was unclear, then scary. After we came out of the shield, we heard that something clinked. What can clink? Probably a stone. But then we realized it were bullets.
Berkut policemen set fire to the building of trade unions, where the headquarters of Maidan activists was. At the upper floors were lying injured and sick people. 47 people were burned alive. They could not evacuate. On February 20th, in early morning, the security forces unexpectedly abandoned their positions on the Maidan. Dozens of protesters marched up to the presidential administration and came under aimed fire of snipers. According to the investigation, former authorities developed a plan under which armed security forces and so-called Titushki had to disperse the protesters. For that, Maidan protesters were provoked before to resistance. 26 Berkut enforcers were held accountable. 5 of them were arrested, and at the moment the case has been reviewed in the court. Another are on the wanted list. Besides these persons, 6 high officials were served with charges, starting from the former president of Ukraine, Interior Ministry's officials, heads of Kyiv militia, which are accused of organization of these murders. This week, in all cities were held events to commemorate those who were killed in the mass protests of 18th and 20th February. Participants of the event say that Maidan is not over. It stays inside of everyone.
Well, it's interesting to hear your summary of these 2 years after these terrible events. So what can we expect concerning these cases of Maidan killings?
It was 2 years ago. It was really a horrible time when Ukrainian people fight against Yanukovych regime and Yanukovych gang. And I think Ukrainian politician class, government, parliament, the president need to remember about it. Today, when they are fighting among themselves, they need to remember that time when the people were killed, when the Yanukovych regime killed everybody to save themselves. And that today Ukrainian politicians need to remember it and to do something to make country better, to make some great results, to modernize our country, to make reforms, and to show that it was worse that that guys do that. But if we make a fail, it will be not good for that people who died in the Maidan 2 years ago.
Taking into account situation in the country, could these cases be postponed, you know, to find those who are guilty in the deaths of these people?
I think we don't need to talk a lot about that time or results of today, because sometimes a lot of people have some too much emotions, and everybody has their own opinion, and I think everybody can tell you something for himself.
I see. Well, thank you very much for
Thank you.
your clear explanation, for fruitful discussion.
Thank you.